Weekend, I think.
Why would I forget it? We'll be talking about the weekend.
You were wrong.
I know, Karen. What else is new? I may pick Notre Dame this week just to give them the kiss of death.
Please.
All right, people have been waiting for this one all season, especially, it seems, the people in Berwick. The long-awaited showdown between our #1 Dunmore and everybody else's #1 Berwick. They're going to settle things once and for all. Saturday afternoon, Dunmore and Berwick, the Eastern Conference Championship. More importantly, the Super 16 #1 trophy. It's noon Saturday, and it's live here on WNEP. Two perfect football teams. Dunmore beat Mount Carmel Saturday in the semis, 14-12. Maybe the Bucks were guilty a little bit of looking ahead. They go to Berwick Saturday, 11-0. Berwick shut out Pottsville 20-0 for their 12th straight win, 27 in a row over the last two seasons. Berwick may be playing with a little bit more incentive this week because they have to win the Eastern Conference Championship to qualify for the state playoffs. Dunmore has already qualified, and we'll talk more about that later this week. This is the first time ever the two teams rated #1 and #2 in the Super 16 stayed 1 and 2 the whole season and then met for the championship in the final game of the year. Yeah, the game of the decade, and it's Saturday at noon live here on 16.
Seasons, these teams?
Undefeated, I'll tell you what, 1 and 2 in the coaches poll, and we have some great games college-wise this weekend. You got Pitt, Penn State, Miami, and Notre Dame, so a lot of people are going to be spending a lot of time on the couch on Saturday. The midnight oil has already begun to burn as the coaching staffs from both Berwick and Dunmore put together their game plans for Saturday's showdown between the Bucks and the Bulldogs. At stake, the Eastern Conference Class 1 championship. Now, Dunmore comes into the contest at perfect 11-0 after a hard-fought 14-12 victory over Mount Carmel in the semis on Saturday. Bucks coach Jack Henzes is delighted to be in this position.
Our kids are, very excited about playing. You're playing the #5 team in the country, and you're playing an outstanding football team that won the AAA state championship last year. So it's going to be a tremendous challenge for our football team, and Coach Curry and his staff deserve an awful lot of credit. And they're football players. They're just an outstanding football team.
And don't expect to hear any type of derogatory remarks from either side during the days leading up to the game. It only adds some fuel to the fire. It will be a great ball game.
And now Joe's own.
All the celebs will be in Berwick. Oh, you won't be going, that's right. Berwick
I'm not
Saturday.
Invited this year. Thanks,
You're
Joe,
invited, Karen, but you said you didn't want to work. You want to watch Pitt, Penn State.
Oh, I did.
All right, they are spread out in the Dunmore locker room. Copies of an article from a Wilkes-Barre newspaper that pretty much says Dunmore ought to stay home Saturday, that going to Berwick is a waste of time because nobody goes to Berwick playoff time and survives. Well, the Bucks have decided to show up anyway. That's why they were out practicing tonight in the bitter cold. They figure, what the heck, their 11-0 record must be good for something. You go 3 feet outside the borough of Dunmore, there ain't 5 people who think you can win this game.
Well, I think that the people have their own opinions, and we can't change that, but our kids are going to work very, very hard, and hopefully that we can play the best of our ability and get out and play Coach Curry's team, and hopefully we can make fewer mistakes than they make, and hopefully come out a winner. #1 Dunmore, #2 Berwick. First time ever the top 2 teams go the entire season undefeated and unchanged. It changes Saturday, live at noon here on 16. For 16, Dunmore #1, Berwick, the defending state champs, #2. All the other polls, as you know, had it the other way around. Through 11 weeks of undefeated football, it has stayed that way. Tomorrow at noon, they'll settle this thing once and for all. The Dunmore Bucks. They're the top-rated Class A football team in Pennsylvania. The Berwick Bulldogs, top-rated Class AAA team. The Bulldogs score 33 points a game. Their defense gives up less than 4. The starting defense has allowed just 3 touchdowns all season. Dunmore's defense has allowed 9 points a game. The offense scores 26. Third-year starting quarterback Tom Marcase runs the show. He's thrown for 900 yards and 10 touchdowns, and the running game is good for another 225 yards a game. Tom DiPietro and Dave Silvestrini run behind a huge offensive line that features 2 Division I prospects.
First of all, nobody has kids like that. Okay, they're very, very talented. They're very deep. As far as one lineman, they can't. If you worry about them running right, they can run left. They have the ability to run up and down that line. They're all outstanding linemen. They have more than one running back. They got a stable of running backs. They got the speed at wide receivers, and I think they got a big-time college quarterback in this Marcase kid. Marcase.
Berwick has a big-time quarterback too. Joe Kelchner is the team's second leading rusher with over 700 yards. He's also an accurate passer, completing 50% of his throws. for another 900 yards. When he looks out over that Dunmore defense, he sees trouble.
Might not be able to see over them or see around them. They're the biggest line I've ever seen. They're like a small college team. Good defensive line. Huge guys.
Size is something that worries Dunmore too. Not so much the size of the Berwick players, but the size of the team.
The number of people that they play in a football game. Hopefully that our people that are going to play in a game can withstand the entire 48 minutes, because we don't have the numbers that Coach Curry has, you know, with the offensive team, the defensive team, the special teams. Our boys have to play 48 minutes, what they've done all year, and hopefully we can continue to do this in this football game on Saturday afternoon.
Don't be too impressed by the number of players Berwick dresses for the game. Both teams play about 15 kids. 15 tough kids who have their teams in position for an Eastern Conference championship. If everything on the field is even, there is still Berwick's home field advantage and their experience in big games. Those are two edges you can't put a number on. 12 noon tomorrow, number 1 Dunmore at number 2 Berwick. It's live here on 16. See for yourself. All right, basketball now. The Big Apple NIT plays its final in the highlight zone.
The following is another live local sports exclusive of WNEP-TV 16. The Berwick Bulldogs have a bone to pick with the Dunmore Bucks, who are ready to make sure the Buck season doesn't start early as they defend their number 1 ranking. It's the Super 16 game of the decade. Last weekend, a tenacious Dunmore defense closed the door on Mount Carmel in the final seconds. After taking the wind out of the Red Tornadoes, number 1 ranked Dunmore extends their unbeaten season to 11-0. Meanwhile, Berwick easily rolled to win number 27 in a row. Ranked number 2, the Bulldogs are 1 game away from their second Super 16 championship in as many years. And now, it's the Eastern Conference shootout at high noon. Number 1 Dunmore and number 2 Berwick take aim at the Super 16 game of the decade. Hello, everybody, from Crispin Field in Berwick. It's time for the game of the decade. I'm Paul Olis, along with Tim Carlson, Joe Zone, and Pat Porro, and we'll be giving you complete coverage of all the action here today. Tim, your thoughts on Dunmore?
Well, Dunmore, of course, Paul, has that big line, and they're going to be really trying to open the holes for the running game. And I think you might see Dunmore also try to go to the passing game a little bit as far as the tight end. We'll have to see what happens, but it's going to be tough in the trenches for sure.
Joe Zone, 27 in a row for Berwick. The winning streak on the line. What about it?
27 straight, and don't forget, Berwick has to win today to get to the States. They have lots of experience in these big games. They've got about 60 kids dressed today, so it's the big Berwick team against a smaller Dunmore team, only smaller in numbers.
All right, it's a beautiful sunny day, temperatures in the 40s, and we'll be right back with the kickoff. All right, we're all set for the kickoff before well over 10,000 fans. The game of the decade, ladies and gentlemen, that's John Bowman. And we'll tell you something. Berwick won the toss, refused to receive, and they kick off deep. Rory Altman is the up-back, picks it up above the 18-yard line, and is immediately manhandled right at the 20-yard line. What do you think, guys? A smart move for Curry on that decision not to take the ball?
I don't know. Maybe he's thinking about the wind or something here. You know, by the time the afternoon rolls on, we may have some more wind around here.
There's the skilled people for Dunmore. Marquez at the quarterback, 3-year starter. DiPietro, Silvestrini, Altman, Garvey, and Colo. Those are the backs and the quarterback.
And the Bucks offensive line, that big line, Tim Ruddy at right tackle, right guard, Tom Hopkins. The center is TJ Jimmy. And there you see the guard. Left side.
It's 1st and 10 at about the 22-yard line. They try the middle. That is number 30, the tailback, DP Rule. Mainly a scampering yard on that carry.
Okay, right away, you're going to find out that these two teams match up well size-wise. As you take a look at the Bulldogs' defensive line, Kevin Woodashuk at defensive end, Jason Slusher, Sean Carden, Tom Robsock, Ryan Anderson. And then in the secondary, it's Koch and Haycock, Bauer, Force, Kelchner, and Wharton. Big teams, both match up pretty nice size-wise. The line of scrimmage is going to be very key today.
2nd and 9 at the 23-yard line. Single setback. Look out. Marquez flips the second time. Tries to run for his life around the right side. Gets to the line of scrimmage, and that's about all.
Okay, that brings up the condition of the field. It is a little chilly here. The sun came out early and softened it up a little bit, I think. And if you can see in the middle of the field, most of the grass is worn off. But right away, you can see Marquez just a little problem. Slips there, and then he can't get his footing along the outside. So the field is pretty solid right now. I thought if it would warm up, it might get a little messy.
Now, once again, though, you can see that Berwick secondary kind of cheating a little bit inside, close, staying close, and that's why the split end was not open. Altman was not open in that case.
So on a third down, a passing situation for Tom Marquez as he splits Altman to the right side. Marquez back to pass. The rush is on. Hurries his throw. It's caught and dropped. Todd Hartshorn had the ball laying on his back and then had it squared out.
Again, watch the Berwick rush now. Good rush. Marquez has to get it off a little bit quicker than he wants, but you can see the ball is there and actually probably could have been caught. Nice try. Didn't quite get it, and so it's 3 downs and punt for Dunmore.
Now, it looks like John Wharton may have gotten a little hand on that for Berwick, too, just to tip that and change the direction just a tad.
Dave Silvestrini, who runs out of the fullback spot, will do all the punting for the Bucks. Kicking from his own 15-yard line, a low end-over-end line drive kick, and a bad kick for Dunmore. What position for Berwick here in the first period? They're in Buck territory with a 1st and 10.
At the 35, it looks like, Paul.
Again, I can't emphasize Berwick playing at home in front of their crowd, experienced. They've been to the state playoffs before. They know what it's all about.
And here's the Bulldogs offense now. There you see quarterback Kelchner, running back is Kowalski. Sean Dittrich, the running back, also the wide receiver Marty Forrest, the tight ends Woodashick.
Watch for Curry to come out throwing here. Just a gut feeling.
Berwick has capitalized on plays like this all year to score early. Let's see what happens here. Fakes to one guy, gives to the next guy. Big hole throw. Osich, the flanker back, coming around and finding a big hole between Brad Winter and Tom Robsack, the tackle in the guard, and springs him for a big yardage.
This is what Berwick has done all year. They use the big linemen, they open up the holes, and they like to grind the ball down the field. And don't forget, the quarterback, Kelchner, is their 2nd leading rusher. So he not only will throw, but most of the time he'll keep that ball and run it himself.
They like that quarterback draw.
Berwick likes to drive it down the field. Not necessarily a big play team.
Dogs on the prowl now with a yard to go for the first down. The naked bootleg run, and this time Kelchner slipped. Well, that snow on the grass, on the turf, certainly has caused misfortune for both teams here early in the game.
But they do get the first down according to the mark from our side of the field. They'll have to bring them out across there now. The Bulldogs, again, big offensive line. Carden, Bowman, Kachurka, Robsock, Winter, both of these teams, the kids play both ways for the most part.
How do you guys feel about this as they measure? Since the field is in sort of a slippery condition, why not go to the pass game, get your receivers out there to make a cut on the defensive guy, lose him, and get the ball to him instead of trying to run the ball? First down.
Again, I think a game like this, the teams want to come out and feel each other out. I think they want to find out who's going to have control of the line of scrimmage, who can do what, and then I think you'll see them open it up just a little bit. Now, there he is. I told you, Kelchner is the guy, 2nd leading rusher. He loses his footing there. He might have broken that for even a few more yards.
But if you're going to fall down, you may as well fall down where a first down comes up.
Look at here, a trip formation to the right side and 2 on the left side. So Kelchner's all alone in the backfield, quarterback sneak. He's across the 20 to the 15-yard line. And the trick play paid off with 3 men wide to the right, 2 men to the left, and Kelchner finds daylight.
They've used that play a million times this year, and it seems like it always works because the defense has to play honest on the receivers. The defensive line, there you see Tom Gallagher, Tom Hopkins, Tom Pulaski, Tim Ruddy, Sean Colo, and they're all big people, Joe, as we keep seeing the size out there today.
Yeah,
and the secondary, McAllister, Silvestrini, Garvey, Golden, Marquez, and Altman. They're quick.
Berwick again coming out behind that big line, which has pretty much dominated teams this year. Berwick ball control football team, and they've got the perfect quarterback to do it in Kelchner.
Well, they need a couple of inches for the first down, and Kelchner, who's rushed for 675 yards this year, may just get that chance to get that inch there square on the 15-yard line.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Bulldogs try to throw the ball here. It's almost like a free play on 2nd and inches. They've got 2 more downs to get the first down, maybe go for it all in the end zone. And maybe to Woodashik.
Offense shifts to the right side. Again, 3 wide receivers flank to the right, and there it is. The quarterback just slides off the guard. Tom Robsack, and picks up the first down where they'll have a 1st and 10 inside the 15 and around the 13.
And that time, Tom Hopkins and the Berwick Dunmore defensive line made the stop, but again, just enough for the first down. And you can be sure before this day is over, they're going to throw a couple of passes out of that 3-man split right formation.
We've got 7 minutes and 54 seconds in the first period. Dunmore received the kick, had 3 tries, punted on a bad punt by Silvestrini, and Berwick now trying to cash in on the miscue at the 15-yard line. Inside, oh, what a hit there as Joe Kowalski was hit by a Mack truck.
That's Tom Gallagher, who made the big tackle for Dunmore. Broke through.
What a play by Gallagher. Watch it now. He's pitching into the right, and boom, there's the collision. What a play by Gallagher. And how about, well, a lot of contact really on that play.
There he is, Tom Gallagher, 5'8", 160-pound junior. So the ball remains at the 18-yard line. And a fumble on the play. Well, the Bucks got the ball. Something we missed, and let's go. Dunmore now with a 1st and 10 at their own 18-yard line as Marquez gets it. It is the pitch to the small guy, Tom DiPietro, behind a wall of blockers, picks up and scrambles for a couple of yards.
Well, the first important turnover of the football game. Berwick driving down the field after the bad punt, and they take it over. Now, Dunmore, again, pretty conservative to start off. A lot of white shirts in there, but a lot more blue shirts.
Well, Dunmore had a little problem coming off the ball last week in the first half. They weren't quite getting the holes open against Mount Carmel. Finally went to the passing game for a while and then went back to it late in the second half.
Tom Golden in the tailback now. Golden gets the tries to go off left tackle between Pavlovsky and Bauman. And the guy who rushed for 387 yards gets a couple.
I think you're absolutely right, Joe, though. I think right here, these are 2 teams that are just feeling each other out on the line of scrimmage to see what they can get.
And right now, again, as you watch Koch make the tackle, Dunmore or Berwick would appear to be controlling the line of scrimmage early in the game. So far, the Bucks have not been able to break anything in terms of a running play for yardage.
Interesting, we haven't seen Silvestrini run the ball yet either.
Garvey flanked to the left. The only man in the backfield is Silvestrini. Silvestrini gets the ball, and they'll say try the same play, but this time it doesn't work for Dunmore as Robsock meets the ball carrier, Silvestrini.
That'll force Dunmore into 3 downs in a punt situation again. And last time, a short 15-yard punt that set Berwick up in great field position.
I'll tell you, Dwayne Koch really closed up that hole quickly from the linebacker position. And the one thing that Berwick prides itself in, they may be large in size, but they certainly get to the ball quickly. They have a good sense for where the ball's going to be on the field.
There's Matt Mossage in single safety as Silvestrini will try to get off a better punt this time. There's the snap from the 5-yard line, boots it away and does get a better one. It's picked up and dropped by Mossage. Who has the ball? Dunmore's got the ball. It will be Dunmore's ball. 1st and 10 at their own 48-yard line.
Very unlike, very uncharacteristic of Berwick.
It'll be 1st and 10 for Dunmore at the 48-yard line. There's a break in the action. We'll be back to all the excitement in a moment.
Don't be surprised if Dunmore comes out of here trying with... Don't be surprised, I was going to say, after this punt recovery that they don't come back with a big play here. And there it is, the fumble recovery.
Tommy DiPietro, guy with quick hands, puts the Bucks in business at their own 49-yard line with a 1st and 10. We've got 5 minutes to go in the period, and the game is scoreless.
And I'll tell you right now, Berwick doesn't give you many opportunities. They've given them 2 here in the early minutes of the first quarter. I would say very critical that Dunmore in some way, shape, or form take advantage. They won't get many chances.
Look for the tight end Colo, just in the flat area somewhere. On a pass play.
Rory Altman in the flanker spot. It's DiPietro and Silvestrini, and back on 1st down. Here's Marquez wiring long for Altman. He's got it, but he's out of bounds. A mile in the air, but Altman ran out of running room and hit the sidelines and over the chalk line.
And I'll tell you, on that particular play, Berwick had that well defended. The safety, John Wharton, was coming over to cover on that play, and if that ball had been thrown inbounds, they wouldn't have connected.
I think that's a little Paul Maranka influence there. Paul, the assistant coach at Dunmore, when he's at Wyoming area, he used to like to burn people after a turnover with the big play.
Well, see, you notice now they've got better field position. They're opening up the offense a little bit more.
Setbacks in the eye. It's Silvestrini, the big fullback, transfer from Valley View, slides off TJ Jimmy, the center, and picks up a couple of yards. There's Silvestrini, 674 yards rushing, a 6.3 average, and scored 11 touchdowns. Just a sophomore.
That Berwick defense, the starting Berwick defense, has given up 3 touchdowns all season. They only give up about 4 points a game as a team. Sometimes they bring in the second and third teamers late in the game. 3 touchdowns all season by that first team.
3rd and 9. Garvey split wide to the right. Rory Altman in the wingback spot. Back to pass rolling. The rush is on. And Marquez has to eat the ball. Look at the dogs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dogs all over Marquez.
The all-out red dog on that play. They love that 3rd and long.
Don't think that Berwick didn't have this play coached. Obviously, Dunmore gave something away on this because Berwick knew from get-go that this was going to go a sweep to the left by the quarterback. And so they're in position again to punt. Two fumble recoveries. Dunmore gets 0 points.
And Jason Slusser on the sack there. He's had several this year, so that's nothing new for Jason.
Silvestrini punting for the 3rd time here in the first period from about his 32-yard line. Masic and Kowalski are back deep, and it's going to take a hop right in front of Masic. He drops the ball again, but recovers at the 25-yard line. Must be grease on the football, guys.
Well, I think what's happening is he's actually starting to run the ball before he has it. He's a little anxious to move the ball up the field, and both times he took his eye off the ball. Both times he fumbled. This time he's recovered again. Look at, you see him look off a little bit toward us, and then when he did that, the ball bounced out of his hands, and this time he was fortunate enough to fall down on it. Now, this is the sort of position where Dunmore likes to take, or Berwick likes to take the ball and drive down the field using the rush. Watch Kelchner now, the quarterback, in this particular series.
Little over 2 minutes to go in the first period. Kelchner with his single setback, and that's Kowalski, the little guy who plunged for 664 yards and 9 TDs, gets spare yardage up the middle.
Nice effort on his part, though, to get that extra yard or so to keep the legs pumping.
Ball will be spotted at around the 30-yard line.
By the way, getting back to those punts, let's give a little credit also to the Dunmore coverage team. You know, they're getting down there in a hurry, and that may be making Slusser think about trying to go and run before he actually catches the ball.
Shane Dietrich comes into the ball game. Kowalski gets to rest for a spell. 2nd down and 6 at the 30-yard line. Scoreless ball game. Through the middle of the line, that's Dietrich, and look at that hustling defense. McAllister, Hopkins, closing up the holes in a hurry.
And Timmy Ruddy right in there, too. The Division I prospect. Watch Ruddy come into this play also from the outside.
First hit, though, by Tommy Hopkins as he makes the big initial
There's
play.
Ruddy over the top.
Now, this brings Berwick into their first passing situation of the game, and this is where the quarterback, Joe Kelchner, is at his best. He's a good option-type quarterback. He can run with it himself. He rushed for 900 yards this year.
There you see big Tim Ruddy. Going to try to hold him on 3rd and 6.
Campbell and Masic split wide to the left. And again, Kelchner with the yellow flags down may have gotten off too fast. Let's see what the call is all about.
I think it's going to be a procedure call. Oh, delay of game.
No, it's against Dunmore. Offside.
Okay, you got it right. It's going to still be 3rd down.
I think it was a delay of game, Joe, as a matter of fact.
I got to stop watching those kids point.
Dead ball foul. Delay. The offense. 3rd down.
That referee is Jim Kimmel. The umpire, Fred Duke. Ron Wren, the head linesman. The line judge, line head linesman is Steve Rennick. The back judge, Ed Clark, and Tim Holden, the field judge. They are all from the Pottsville area because you've got the North and the Central Division playing, so the officials come from the neutral Southern Division. 3rd and 11 for the Bulldogs. 59 seconds left in the period. There is no score. Back to pass on the big third down. The rush is on. Kelchner escapes one and fires, and let's see if that's going to be an early hitter. No flag down. What a play that time.
Fred Garvey making the play there, Paul.
Okay, take a look now. This is a pretty critical play. The question is, did Garvey get in there too soon? Now, Kelchner's rolling. Here comes the throw.
He went for the ball.
Well, from that angle, I couldn't tell if he was hit soon or not.
Well, the other question is it an uncatchable ball?
So it's 4th down and 11, and this time it'll be the second punt for John Bowman in the ball game, or rather Kelchner. Kicking from his own 15, gets it away. At the 45-yard line.
Altman.
To the 50. Rory Altman brings it to midfield. There's a break in the action. There is no score. We'll be back with the game of the decade in a moment.
Well, you know, this is the 16th meeting between these two teams since 1950. However, they have never met in a playoff. And there you see the strategy being pursued. Jack Henzes, the coach of Dunmore, on the left. George Curry, the coach of Berwick, on the right.
And I got to tell you, we spent some time with both coaches this week, and both very gracious, both very anxious to have this game played this week.
33 seconds. The Bucks just about a yard inside Bulldog territory with a 1st and 10 as the first period is just about to run out. This is Tom Marquez. Silvestrini with the blocking. Marquez out of the pocket. Fires downfield. It is intercepted by Kelchner. Intended for Altman. Kelchner to the 35 and Kelchner to the 40-yard line. What a turn of events here in this game.
He had him. He was wide open, but the pass a little bit underthrown, and Kelchner came up to make the play.
Well, that's nothing new for Kelchner to make the big play. He's made the big play on several times this year, and he was actually beat on the play by Altman, but the pass a little bit underthrown. And there you see Kelchner coming right in with the good hands, even though he's a quarterback. But we have to remember, he was a wide receiver with his brother as quarterback last year, so he knows how to catch the pass.
And his brother's basking in Miami, ready for the big one tonight with Notre Dame. Jake Kelchner. And the quarter has elapsed. It's scoreless here before well over 10,000 fans at Crispin Field. A live presentation on WNEP. We'll be back in a moment.
We are back live. No score. 1 quarter complete here in Berwick. Number 1 versus number 2. Now watch. Marquez goes back. You're looking right in his eyes. There's the fake. A little pressure now. Meanwhile, Altman is wide open down the middle, but the ball is underthrown. Kelchner makes the great grab for the interception. That's the 3rd turnover of the football game. Berwick takes over 1st and 10 on the 40. Jack Henzes, the Dunmore coach, looking on, grateful and happy to have his team undefeated and here to play for this great championship.
All right, here's Berwick now, 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. This is Joe Kowalski trying to squirt through the left side, picks up a couple of yards. You know, guys, the odd part about it, Berwick has scored 69 points in the first period this year and none today.
I'm getting a sense of a little bit of the line play starting to change. It looks like Dunmore is becoming a little bit more confident now. Look at the great play there on that side of the ball. I think early in that first quarter that Berwick's line was controlling the game. In the next 2 series now, it looks like Dunmore is starting to feel its oats a little bit.
I think you might see Berwick go more to a perimeter type of running game also, and also maybe open it up with the tight end Budishik.
Whiteouts to the right, Kelchner to the right, sees a little gaping hole, but see how quickly it closes up by Pavlovsky.
See what I mean about going to the outside a little bit more, though? Try to roll off that line and maybe get him stuck in the middle.
Let me tell you something on this play. Joe Kelchner has not had that happen to him too many times this year. Usually when he gets that first line, breaks that initial line of scrimmage, he's on his way, and boom, from nowhere, Pavlovsky came in and made the play. Kelchner came up shaking his head a little bit.
I'll tell you what, though, Joey's no easy tackle at 6'2" and 185. Trying to do the same thing his brother did last year, take the undefeated Bulldogs to a AAA state championship. But Berwick has to win here today.
We're in the second period, a scoreless game so far. 3rd down and 7 for the Bulldogs. And the referee will call timeout. Is it too much time? Let's find out.
Looks like it's going to be that way.
Dead ball.
Delay of game.
Delay of game. On the
Second
offense.
one in the game today for Bulldogs.
And that probably is because Dunmore is showing them some things they haven't seen. Because, again, that's a little unusual for a Berwick team. If anything, they're the ones throwing up those different defenses, confusing the offense.
There's
This is
Curry.
really unlike a Berwick team to make this many mistakes. But the good thing so far is it really hasn't cost them anything as far as the scoreboard goes.
Curry, 272 wins, 82 losses, and 6 ties in 32 years. One of the state's best records. 3rd and 13, the ball at the 47-yard line. Kelchner with a single setback, pitches the ball. What a dangerous
Fumble.
pitch to Woodishick. Well, that was tossing that around like a loaf of bread with white shirts coming right at you.
Okay, they're not, what they're calling that is not a fumble, but actually one of those shuffle passes and an incomplete pass. But not a fumble, not a run. And again, the Dunmore line is beginning to assert itself.
Here it is again.
Little shuffle pass. Now, this is something I have not seen Berwick do this year. That is for sure is a shuffle pass. No fumble.
Wow, almost
and they'll
intercepted.
punt. Almost intercepted. But the Dunmore line now beginning to establish itself.
So on 4th down, Kelchner will be punting for the 3rd time in the ball game. From about his 23-yard line, Rory Altman standing at his own 30. There's Altman. Average 19 yards on returns. High spiral kick. Fair catch by Altman at the 26-yard line, and that's where the Bucks will put it in play.
Well, Paul, so far nobody has cashed in on any of the turnovers. Basically, it's been a game of field position, and it's swung back and forth. Dunmore's had the good field position, and now they don't again.
It's a game with two great defenses controlling the football game. The linemen on both sides of the ball, the linebackers, are controlling the football game. They're not allowing the quarterbacks to set up. They're not allowing the quarterbacks to make any big plays. There has not been a major offensive play yet run from scrimmage.
1st and 10 for the Bucks. 10 minutes left to go in the second period. Tom Marquez, the 6'3", 190-pound junior, has passed for 10 touchdowns this year. Pitches to Tom Golden in the tailback spot. A lot of daylight, and he's been hit on a fumble. And let's see who gets bottom of the pile. Oh. What more can a football game have than turnovers like we're seeing here today, but still nobody has cashed in?
Well, now they're even because each team has had 2 and each team has recovered the others.
First big play from scrimmage today for Dunmore as they break through the initial line. This is very close to 1st down yardage, and then the big hit right there. The ball goes scooting back. Berwick falls on it to recover. They've got a 1st down, and we look at the 4th turnover in this football game. 2 weeks now for both teams.
John Wharton with the big hit that caused the fumble right there.
1st and 10 at the 26-yard line. Kelchner fakes one way, gives the other way to Kowalski, and he's quickly stacked up right at the 25-yard line. I heard somebody say the team that makes the least amount of mistakes is going to win this game. That's a true pattern now.
Well, so far it's 2-2, and one of the things you talk about sometimes in games where the defense gets off the field and gets arrested, not prepared for this. Well, in this game, the defenses and offenses are the same kids, so they're not going off the field looking for a rest. They expect to be out there on every down anyway, so they're just going to have to battle this one out.
Dietrich and Massage are in the ball game for Berwick. A pair of fresh running backs. Massage is flanked out to the right side. 2nd down and 8 from the 25-yard line. Kelchner spins around, wants to go to the air, cocks his arm. Now the run is on. Tries to get out of the pocket. The lefty, southpaw, shoots it into the corner. It is broken up there, right in the deep corner near the pylon. Tom Marquez, the free safety, all over the receiver.
I thought Kelchner might try to take this one around that left side. Again, the defense controlling the game. Great coverage. Now here comes Kelchner. He's back. He's looking right away, but there's nobody open, so now he's got to scramble. He starts to move out to the left side now, looking for his main receiver, Woodishick. I thought right here he might try to turn it, but now he throws it, and of course the coverage is great. The ball is underthrown, and he's lucky that was not intercepted.
3rd down and 8. Crowd on the edge of their seats. They haven't seen anything on the scoreboard yet with 8:43 left to go in the second period. Kelchner again looking for receivers. Flips it out to Kowalski. Slips. He's up back on his feet. Flags are down and Kowalski's inside the 25 to the 24-yard line with markers on the field.
Well, you saw who made that play, Timmy Ruddy.
Yep, absolutely. Maybe an illegal block of some kind on that play.
That's personal foul, clipping, here.
Yep. Let's see if we can find the penalty on this shot here.
Right there, Timmy Ruddy, who actually turns this play inside. Ruddy broke that play down, so if he wasn't clipped, he was still going to make the tackle anyway. But Timmy Ruddy, who, by the way, is being recruited by every major college in the country, who has 1,400 on his college boards and will go to college anywhere he sees fit when the season's over.
And you can bet the scouts are here today looking at everybody, not just Timmy, but a lot of Berwick and Dunmore kids both. And, you know, Joe and Paul, the footing right now is playing a major factor in this. And, you know, I notice on the passing also, it seems like the ball might be a little slippery out there. It might have that little glaze on it from the weather, and that may be causing problems in the passing.
All right, third and a long mile, 28 yards to go. The ball inside the 45-yard line. Brian Anderson wide to the left side, and on the gift to Woodishick. Woodishick almost tackled in his own backfield, but then squirts for a couple of yards.
That was Colo, I think, that made that play. Number 85, Sean Colo.
Well, you're seeing two great defenses.
Wow.
Sean Colo, the defensive end, crashed through on the left side. I'm not sure he knew the play was coming that way, but his job is to penetrate a few yards. He did that. Woodishick was right there, and that broke down the play, and Berwick is punting again.
Al Ketchner punting for the fourth time here early in the first half. Rory Altman again, single safety deep to receive. He'll be punting from about the mid-stripe. There's Altman, and the punt is away. It's a high kick. Again, the call for the fair catch. He lets it roll, and it's going to roll inside the 10, to the 5, to the 4, and to the 3. So the ball will be on the 3-yard line. Dunmore's ball. There's no score from Crispin Field. We'll return to the game of the decade after this.
Welcome back. 7:21 to go in the first half. There's no score on the ball game between Dunmore and Berwick. Dunmore starts on their own 3-yard line. Not a nice place to be, as you see down there in Bulldog country, Joe.
This is a very critical part of the football game as far as I'm concerned. 4-yard line for Dunmore. You can see the game is being dominated by defense. Dunmore has to be very careful down here, and Berwick knows if they can get a chance to stop them here, they've got a chance to have great field position as time is running out in this second quarter.
All right, Dunmore with their backs to the goal line. The ends are Garvey and Colo. The tackles, Pawlowski and Ruddy. Ballman and Hopkins the guard. TJ Jimmy the center. Marquez the quarterback. Silvestrini and DePietro and Altman are the backfield members.
I think you might see Marquez just hang on to the ball here and just try to go up the middle to get a little daylight.
7 minutes and 8 seconds. Inside the 5-yard line, Marquez gingerly sweeps around, hands off the ball. They carry it up to the 5-yard line. Now let's go down to our sideline reporter, Pat Poro.
Well, Paul, Tim, Joe, this is a great crowd here. Over 10,000 people to see this game. It's standing room only. You can't get a space near the game, near the field. Perfect weather conditions. It's about 45 degrees, a little bit overcast. Sun peeks out now and then, but just a perfect day for a great football game. Perfect day for the game of the decade. Back to you guys up in the booth.
All right, they pick up 2 yards on the play. They spot it at the 5-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
And by the way, that is the wettest part of the football field where Dunmore has the ball right now.
Bucks digging in their cleats, trying to get the footing now, and they shift to the right side. Marquez with Silvestrini in the backfield. The pitch is to DePietro, and DePietro is hammered down near the goal line.
They'll give him forward progress, maybe to the 2 or the 3, but again.
Tom Robeshock making the play there. Watch the pursuit. Robeshock smells this one the whole way. Number 75, you'll see him make the play there. There he is.
And again, Dunmore very cautious down there. I have the feeling that both of these coaches realize that 1 score, maybe 2, wins this football game.
Big
so
dude.
They've got to be real careful down by the goal line. 3rd down and 10, Paul. Not a place to be right now with the end zone on your back.
Critical right there, because if you don't get any yardage, then Silvestrini backs up to the outside line, almost into the crowd. They'll have to punt out of there.
Maybe a quick kick here.
And the referee calls timeout.
Delay.
Delay the game on the offense.
I think that's the most time I've seen delay of game in one game in a long time.
Both of these teams run great defensive schemes, and they got a lot of them. And if they throw something out there the quarterback's not familiar with, or in fact, if they throw something up there against the play that the coach has sent in, then the quarterback gets confused.
Jack Henzes, Paul Maranka, his assistant, just off the screen there. Jack trying to figure out exactly how he can get out of this hole.
All right, the toughest situation the Bucks have been in so far this afternoon. They're at their own 1-yard line. The pitch in the backfield to Golden. He's out to the 5. Golden to the 10. Golden to the 15, the 20. And Golden gets away from that tackler to the 30, to the 35. Golden may be on his way. One guy on him, and Golden down at the 45-yard line.
It's coming back. We got a clip on the 5-yard line. It's coming back.
Or maybe a hold. Did you see the clip, Joe?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yep.
No question about it. Jason Slusher hit from behind. Now watch 84, Slusher coming over to make the play right over here. There's the clip right out there. Woodishik, I believe, was clipped. That's going to bring it all the way back. Great move there. What an effort by Golden. And it's going to come all the way back.
I can't believe the run he made on the field in the condition it is. There it is, right there. You can't block that way, and that's Marquez. No, who is that? Number 14?
Todd Hartshorn.
Todd Hartshorn.
So the big storybook run by Tommy Golden goes for naught, and they'll go all the way back inside the 5 to the 3-yard line, where again it'll be 3rd and 12. Everybody.
Doesn't really matter down here, right, Paul? Half the distance to the goal, so the yardage penalty doesn't mean that much, but it's the play being called back that's the real killer.
And that was, you know, actually when you think about it, they pitched that ball back in the end zone on that play.
All right, Marquez this time sends it to Silvestrini. Silvestrini wanted to do the same thing around the other side, but is hemmed in at about the 12-yard line.
He's just about a yard short. Dunmore's going to have to punt.
That's probably the biggest run up the middle we've seen all day today.
Well, if you think about what's happened, Dunmore's 2 biggest plays, last possession, they gained 10, fumbled. This one, they had the big run back, but there's a clip. So mistakes and penalties have cost both teams dearly with 4 minutes left here. No score in the first half.
Kind of amazing, too, since both these teams are so well disciplined.
All right, there is Silvestrini, and there's Kelchner and Kowalski awaiting the punt. Here's Silvestrini's kick. It's a wobbly kick, bounces at the 34 and out of bounds at the 30-yard line. So, with 4 minutes and 5 seconds left to go, there is no score. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Well, the Dunmore defense has to answer the call once again, as we see the Berwick cheerleaders and the mascot there cheering their team on, and still, with the way these defenses are playing, I'm not so sure the 29-yard line's great field position, Joe.
Well, there's no score in the game. First quarter, it seemed like Berwick's line controlled the game. Now it seems like Dunmore's line has come back into the game, and it's coming right down to defensive line versus offensive line. The defenses are dominating.
And if you're thinking this game is going to stay this way right through the end, we will go into overtime. We've got to declare a winner here today. 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. Kelchner puts Woodishik in motion. Mosic in the wingback spot, and Kelchner back to pass. A flood of receivers downfield. He throws low. It bounces off the ground to Mosic.
He was open, but the pass was a little bit underthrown. And I think one of the things you'll notice about Kelchner is he's very good on the shorter passes. If he has not had a lot of success throwing downfield this year, but then again, Berwick doesn't throw downfield that much. The receiver slipped, the ball a little bit underthrown, but he was open in the middle, as you can see, wide open.
And he gave it the good college try with showing the referee the ball like, hey, I caught it, but no soap on that one. 5'10", 155-pound junior Matt Mosic. Good receiver.
You know, these are December conditions, November conditions. The fields are cold, they're muddy, and it's slippery.
2nd and 10, just inside the 30-yard line. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the half. No score. Again, Woodishik in motion. Kelchner rolls right. Kelchner, and the receiver was hit. The receiver was decked by Dave Silvestrini. Unintentionally, to me, it looked like.
That's an automatic first down also.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Woodishik was open.
Pass interference on the defense.
Now watch this. It looks like Silvestrini almost trips and just falls on him, but no matter how you look at it, that's pass interference. Yeah, he's on him here.
Yeah, he's up his
takes
back.
his legs down, he's down. Big play for Berwick.
So they'll take it to the 15-yard line where Berwick has been playing inside Dunmore territory most of the second period.
I think
sorry,
I was
go ahead.
going to say what's happening is it looks like Berwick has decided they're not going to have a lot of success running the ball. They've been throwing last couple of possessions.
3:30 left to go. First and 10 at the 15-yard line. Kelchner again puts Woodishick in motion to the right side. Kelchner this time will keep, but he gets nowhere, just inside the chalk line at the 15.
They tried the quick count there too, Joe, and that did not work at all.
See, what's different in this game for Berwick is even when they got behind this year, and they were behind 3 times, they still were able to come back out, establish their run, and move down the field with their run. But in this game, they are not able to establish their run because the Dunmore defensive line, the Dunmore defense, is controlling the line of scrimmage right now, making big plays. So Berwick is doing something they don't normally have to do. They have to throw the ball. They're much better when they don't have to throw.
Second and 9. The ball just inside the 15-yard line. Woodishick in motion to the right again. Kelchner floating to the right, looking for Woodishick. He throws deep to Woodishick. Intercepted by Marquez in the end zone. We've had fumbles, we've had interceptions, we've had everything in this ball game. And Marquez will give the ball back to Dunmore.
And an interception now for each quarterback today.
Now, I'd like to see
one.
See if he comes out of the end zone here. See if he comes out. That would be a safety. That's a safety if he comes out.
No, he's on the line, so I guess that's why they didn't
nice
call it.
Great call. Nice look by the ref. If he had that 1 foot come out and he goes back in, then that's a safety, and that would have been 2 points for Berwick. But as it turns out, it's a touchback, and Dunmore takes over first and 10 on their own 20-yard line. This has been a game of turnovers, and what a great catch down there by the official, because 2 points in this game could be all the points.
Well, the name of the game here is you give me the ball and I'll give it back to you, and that's the way it's been for almost the first half. 2:40 left to go. Dunmore on the attack now. Marquez pitches back to Golden, the man who had the big run, but this time he's hemmed in, and he'll be waylaid in his own backfield.
That play hasn't worked yet this afternoon, and they're probably going to have to try something a little different. I still think that Dunmore and Berwick might be very happy to get in. Now watch this. If he steps out and then goes back in, it's a safety. Now watch that second foot. It's on the line. That means he's still in the end zone, and that's a great call. Remember, if he had come out, stepped over, and then goes back, that's a safety, but not to be.
Double receivers to the right side, second down and 15. To the hole, to the 20, the 25, and down at the 25-yard line.
Tommy Gallagher.
Gallagher, the runner.
Another fumble.
Another fumble.
How many's that, guys?
That's 2 fumbles for Dunmore now, and both have been recovered by Berwick.
Okay, they've got 1:50 left. Now, this happened late. Watch the left side. Again, every time this play has worked, Berwick has come in and turned it over into a turnover. And there it goes. And it's lying on the ground.
And John Wharton again ripped the ball out of Golden's hands and caused the fumble.
At the 27-yard line, the Dogs in business once again with 1:50 to go. First and 10, Kelchner swing pass to Woodishick. Woodishick makes the reception at the 19-yard line.
That's the first time they've been able to get to him today, and he is their big offensive threat. Again, this kid being recruited by most of the big colleges. I've seen him down at Penn State. Great-looking tight end.
Their leading receiver, Joe, with 25 catches this year and over 300 yards. So he's the guy, as you say.
All right, the clock, the big factor now. 1:23 and counting down. It's second down, 3 to go. Fake to one and back to the other, and he's in his own backfield.
Oh, McAllister, what a big hit.
The left linebackers.
Let me tell you something. This is one of the toughest football games I've ever seen. Watch McAllister, 24, that inside linebacker.
Boom.
Not even touched, and boom. There's 1:12 left. Berwick looking at a 3rd down and 3. You know they will go for it twice, so they've got 2 chances here. And I'm telling you, the way the defenses are playing, the conditions of the field where it's a little slippery, one score could be the key in this game.
By the way, during this timeout, you'll notice that you'll see Coach Curry go out to talk to his team. Jack Henzes will stay on the sidelines. We'll be back to continue this war right after we take this break.
Bank and Trust Company, member FDIC.
All right, we're back live. Kelchner just tried a look-in pass to Marty Forrest, the flanker back, incomplete, and it'll bring up a 4th down. Still 3 to go.
As you can see, short pass, incomplete, now brings up 4th down. Coach Curry back out on the field, and the question is, will Berwick try a field goal from this distance? Because 3 points is a lot of points in a game like this.
Well, they scored a lot of points this year, but they have not scored any via the field goal. Kelchner, if it does transpire, will do the kicking. He kicked 27 extra points, but no field goal.
It would be about a 36-yard attempt, and that would be a pretty long field goal. I think Berwick is going to try to go for the 1st down here. If they don't convert, you still got Dunmore deep in their territory with no time left on the clock.
What do you think, guys? Many people expect this type of ball game here today?
Well, we did, of course, and we knew it was going to be really tough. And what we talked about all week and also before the game today was the fact that it was going to be a war in the trenches, to use a cliche, but that's exactly what it is. It has really been tough, down low and down dirty.
And I think the coaches expected this kind of a game because both of them have seen each other enough times to know the kind of kids they have and that the defense would dominate. So it looks to me like they're going to go for the 4th down.
And I think it's going to come down to the conditioning. If the score stays this way late in the second half, it's going to come down to which team's conditioned better to take the lumps.
All right. No field goal attempt, 4th down, and they need 3. Kowalski in motion to the right side. Kelchner wants to pass, looks for Woodishik, finds him, but does he have enough? Very close, guys.
Watch the mark. Watch the mark. According to that mark, he's short, but from we're across this side of the field.
Yeah.
Now they gave it to him.
1st down.
Nice play by Woodishik to get to that 1st down marker and in time enough for Kelchner to get it to him quickly because he was being pursued.
That's a great play. And this play almost breaks down. Take a look at Silvestrini coming in there to almost break the play up right there. And Woodishik, you darn well know he knew where the 1st down marker was.
Clock is running, by the way.
50 seconds.
The ball at the 15-yard line. 48 seconds left to go and counting down. Woodishik in motion to the right. Kelchner rolling to the right. Looking for Woodishik. And down he goes as he's hammered there. Met by...
That's Rory Altman. Number 33, I do believe, that made that tackle.
Berwick calls the timeout. This is so critical right now with a defensive game like this. If Berwick can get 7 points off and go into the locker room at halftime, that is a great emotional victory. If, on the other hand, Dunmore can hold them, I think that's an emotional victory for them.
You know, that's an interesting play there that Altman came up and made that tackle. He is the strong safety, so obviously he was gambling a bit, figuring that maybe he was going to stay honest on Kelchner and watch him.
All right, there's a break in the action. 30 seconds left, and we'll be back with more action when we return. 7 seconds left to go in the half. The game is scoreless. It's 2nd and 12. The ball at the 18-yard line. 0-0 is Joe Kelchner now. We'll try to utilize the rest of the time and try to get 6 on the scoreboard. Set back into the pocket. Throws for Woodishik. And Woodishik down inside the 8.
What a big-time play by McAllister. That saves a touchdown.
Clock is moving in a quick huddle now. Kelchner goes to the sidelines. He wanted to stop the clock and completed his mission with 20 seconds left to go.
Okay, this is the previous play, and that is a great time. That play usually goes for a touchdown. What a great defensive play by Dunmore to stop that one from going all the way in. Woodishik, tough kid to tackle, one-on-one, 10 yards from the goal line.
All right, another decision. Kick a field goal here or go for the 1st down yardage with 20 seconds left.
Well, the ball is at the 9-yard line. Let's see what they're going to do.
There we go, field goal time.
Kelchner.
Watch the fake, but I'll tell you, 3 points would look awful big.
It'll be a 26-yarder if it's good.
It is up. It is off to the left side. No good. And Kelchner's first try of a field goal with 15 seconds. And the game scoreboard still shows Berwick nothing and Dunmore nothing.
This is unbelievable.
15 seconds left. and I would be very surprised if Dunmore didn't. Look at, there it is now. Again, they don't do this too often. It looks like he might have even slipped a little bit. He certainly did not get a good, clean shot at it.
Yeah, in all defense of Joey down there, it is really tough footing on that field, especially, as you said before, Joe, in that portion of the field.
Now, Dunmore has the ball on the 20, 15 seconds left. I would be very surprised if they try anything. They'll sit here, go into the locker room, all tied at 0-0. Neither team has seen that this year.
This should be the last play of the half.
All right, Marquez now. He wants to pass. They're going to gamble. He throws long for Rory Altman, almost a one-hand stand.
He's their big play man. He did it last week against Mount Carmel. Altman does have very good hands. He's not the biggest guy on earth, but once he does get open, he's very, very hard to catch. He's very quick.
I think Dunmore may have been thinking that maybe Berwick was feeling like we were, that they would maybe sit on the ball and play it a little tight, but they didn't really catch him sleeping on that one.
However, Altman was open. The ball was down a little bit more. He would have had that ball and been out of bounds.
There's Henzes, 173 wins, 73 losses, 23 years of coaching.
Now they'll sit on it. They're lined up to sit.
Yeah, the clock counting down now with 8-7 and down to nothing. They'll head to the locker room.
Wow.
We've got a scoreless ball game here at Tristan Field before well over 10,000 fans.
A game of turnovers, a game of bad field position, a game where the defense has control.
This is the way it's supposed to be when it's number 1 against number 2. Nice and close. We'll be back with more halftime activities with no score in the ball game between Dunmore and Berwick.
The Dunmore band will be entertaining at halftime in a moment. We'll check in with Pat Porro with the band leader. But guys, at the outset we said the battle plans were laid. Let's begin the war. But now they're in the locker room. Will the battle plans change for the second half by either of these two coaches?
Well, first of all, I don't believe either team believes they're going to be able to control the ball, run down the field on the other team. That's become obvious. Dunmore, I think, has 6 yards, maybe total offense in the first half. Berwick had early yards in the first quarter, hasn't done much since. The game is not going to be won with anybody driving the ball down the other team's throat. It's going to be turnovers. It's going to be the mistake. It's going to be the team that capitalizes on the other team's mistake. I think that's obvious.
28 yards Berwick has on offense, so they're 22 yards to the better, but it didn't do anything as far as the scoreboard goes, so we are scoreless. And this has just been one unbelievable game down front. The only thing I might have seen, Joe, that Dunmore was doing to confuse, actually both teams, to tell you the truth, to confuse both quarterbacks a little bit, is the stunting. It seems like the quarterback would get a bad read, not understand what was going on, and that's why we had those, what do we had, like 4 delay of game penalties in this? And I think that's really confused the quarterbacks.
When you look at the numbers, Berwick has scored 152 points in the first half this year. Nothing today. Does that kind of speak of the teams in our area a little bit more superior?
Well, I don't really know, Paul, exactly what you mean by that question, because, you know,
the teams in the Big 11.
Oh, you talk about the Big 11. Well, I don't know. I think Dunmore, for the most part this year, has been far superior to most of the teams in the Big 11, just as Berwick has been far superior to the teams they've played. So basically, I think we're just seeing the 2 best football teams in our area banging heads. We've still got a second half to go, but right now, we've got Pat Porro down on the sidelines. Pat?
Hi, Joe. What an exciting game so far, even though there's no score at halftime. A little bit of background on both schools you may want to know about. So we'll take a look at the history of the winning tradition of the Dunmore Bucks. People across the country have heard of the Berwick Bulldogs, but there's another team from northeastern and central Pennsylvania that makes a stir on the gridiron as well, the Dunmore Bucks. Out of the Big 11, the Eastern Conference Northern Division Class 1 champion Bucks have as much of a winning tradition as the Bulldogs, minus a state title under their belt, that is. The Bucks have won the Eastern Conference Class 1 championship once before, back in 1985, when they beat West Scranton behind the leadership of the Ruddy Boys. Dunmore is one of the dominating teams in the Big 11 with 5 league championships. Dunmore comes into today's championship game with a perfect 1989 record. They've won 11 straight. The only common opponent they have with Berwick this season is Wyoming area. Dunmore defeated the Warriors 42-16. Berwick shut them out 34-0. What helped helps make the Dunmore Bucks so successful is the family atmosphere on the squad. From generation to generation, fathers, sons, and brothers have played on the team. Out of the 34 players on this year's squad, 8 had brothers who played on a championship Dunmore team of the past. Tim Ruddy's brother Tom played on the '85 team. So did Tom Marquese's brother Jim. Tom Hopkins, Rory Altman, and Sean Colo also all had brothers who played on the '85 squad. And Ernie Gatto's brother Carmen not only played for Dunmore back in 1978, but is now one of the assistant coaches who helps keep the traditions of the winning Bucks of the past alive today. Dunmore has already clinched a spot in the PIAA state playoffs, win or lose today. But a win over the seemingly unbeatable Bulldogs would give them the chance to obtain something they and their brothers, fathers, and cousins have never had before: the Pennsylvania State High School Football Championship. That's the story of the Dunmore Bucks and their football team over the past years. But what about the Berwick Bulldogs? Now, most people know they've had 27 straight wins, but there's a lot of things about their winning history you may not know. So let's take a look at the Berwick Bulldogs. November 1988. The Berwick Bulldogs face Aliquippa in the PIAA Class AAA Championships. Berwick shuts out the Quips 13-0. Berwick came back in 1989, defeating every team they faced, won by 47 points. The Dogs outscored their opponents 400-47 during regular season play. With playoffs, the Dogs are now 12-0. Now they face the also undefeated Dunmore Bucks in one of the biggest games in their history. Berwick is attempting to be the first team since the Mount Carmel squad of 1972-73 to win back-to-back Eastern Conference Class I crowns. Today's game is Berwick's 9th appearance in Eastern Conference Class I playoffs for a total of 12 games. Their record is an impressive 9-3. The Bulldogs have a winning tradition that is legendary in high school football circles across the country. The Dogs are so well known, in fact, that they are ranked 4th among the USA Today's top 25 high school football teams. They've been in that national newspaper's poll all season long. George Curry has been Berwick's head coach since 1970, bringing with him a style of coaching that has given Berwick most of their titles. They've won 4 of their 5 Eastern Conference titles under his leadership, as well as that impressive state title last year. But his coaching successes haven't left his players once they leave Crispin Field. Last year's starting quarterback Jake Kelchner is now at Notre Dame and hopes to be starting there next year. Kelchner's younger brother Joe has made a name for himself as the starting quarterback of the Bulldogs this year and is now looking for a state title of his own to bring home to his family. Berwick could go where no Eastern Conference team has gone in 16 years, taking their second Class I Eastern Conference title and continuing their season, possibly to another state title. Then the season would end, as it has so many times for the Berwick Bulldogs, on a winning note. A little idea of the history of both teams involved in this Eastern Conference Class I championship game today. A game at halftime that is scoreless, game tied at 0, so they've got a lot of work to do in the second half. Standing room only crowd here, over 10,000 people in Crispin Field, and we're going to go back up to the booth to Joe, Tim, and Paul Olis for a bit of a recap and a preview of the second half to come.
You would think maybe that teams that are 11-0 and 12-0 would not know what it's like to be in the locker room in this position, but in fact that's not true. Berwick this year had a tough game with Coughlin, a one-point game, had to come from behind to win that one. And also this year, Dunmore in a tough game with Scranton Prep, also tied at halftime. So these two teams, while not often, know what it's like to have to come out and suck it up in the second half and play football.
Yeah, I guess last week Dunmore got tested also by Mount Carmel. The Red Tornadoes stayed right with them with their quickness, and so Dunmore, I'm sure, is probably thinking about how they came out last week against Mount Carmel and used a couple of things to get themselves motivated.
And in their last 8 playoff games for the Eastern Conference here in this stadium, they've lost only twice, once in '84 to Valley View and to Mechanic, 7-6 in '87. And their overall record in the Eastern Conference, 5 wins and a loss. Dunmore has won 1. You remember that one, the West Scranton game?
Yep.
And they've lost 3 others.
And the last time these two teams met was back in 1971 in a regular season game, which Berwick won 26-14. So this meeting's been a long time coming, but they've never, ever met in a playoff game before.
Let me ask you something. We know that the playoffs are still quite a ways away, for Berwick at least. Dunmore is sure to go there. Who will they be playing, Tim?
Well, it looks like Dunmore is going to be playing South Williamsport, and more than likely Berwick will be playing Elizabethtown. So we'll be back to talk more about what's coming up in the second half of this scoreless ball game. Stay with us, live and exclusively on WNEP.
Today's Eastern Conference Championship game is brought to you in part by your